In the small, isolated town of Ravens Hollow, a towering, decaying manor stood on Blackwood Hill. The locals whispered stories about it. A place of dark history, shrouded in fog and mystery. None dared to approach, especially after dusk. It was said that those who ventured too close never returned. Sophia Morgan, a young historian, arrived in Ravens Hollow in search of her family's forgotten roots. Her ancestors had once lived in the manor, but no one in her family ever spoke of it. Curiosity and a thirst for knowledge led her to the town, determined to uncover the truth about the cursed estate. As Sophia checked into the only inn in town, the innkeeper, Mrs. Graves, gave her a grave warning. "Stay away from Blackwood Manor, dear. There's darkness there that no one should disturb." But Sophia, always the skeptic, brushed off the warning. She believed in history, not ghost stories. The next day, Sophia made her way up Blackwood Hill, feeling the weight of the manor's dark presence looming over her. Its once grand stone walls were now covered in ivy, and the windows were broken, like hollow eyes watching her every move. As she approached the heavy wooden door, it creaked open, seemingly on its own. Sophia's heart raced, but her curiosity pulled her inside. The air was cold and stale, and a strange metallic scent lingered in the hallways. Exploring the dimly lit rooms, Sophia came across a dusty, ornate book on a forgotten desk. The pages were filled with strange symbols and names written in blood-red ink. As she leafed through, a loose paper fell to the floor. It was an invitation, signed by the name Lord Viktor Blackwood. Sophia's blood ran cold. Viktor Blackwood was her ancestor, long dead. But the invitation was dated for the following night. Despite her growing unease, Sophia couldn't resist the pull of the mystery. The invitation seemed to call to her, a whisper in the back of her mind that she couldn't ignore. The next night, she returned to the manor. As soon as she stepped through the door, a sudden chill swept over her. The once dilapidated halls now glowed with candlelight, and faint music echoed from deeper within. Sophia followed the sound until she reached the grand dining hall. A lavish feast was laid out on a long table, and seated at the head was a man dressed in dark Victorian attire. His skin was pale, almost deathly, and his eyes were the color of blood. "Welcome, Miss Morgan," he said with a smile that revealed sharp, gleaming fangs. "I've been expecting you." Sophia froze. Lord Viktor Blackwood, the vampire lord of legend, was very much alive, or rather undead. He gestured for her to sit, but her legs refused to move. Every instinct screamed for her to run, but the ancient vampire's gaze held her captive. "You've come to learn the truth of your lineage," Viktor said, his voice a soft, deadly whisper. "But you should know that the truth comes at a price." Sophia's throat was dry, but she forced herself to speak. "What do you want from me?" Viktor's smile widened. "Only what is owed. You are the last of the Blackwood line. And now, it is time for you to take your place among us." Sophia's heart pounded in her chest as she realized the full horror of what he meant. Viktor revealed the dark history of the Blackwood family. Generations ago, the Blackwoods made a pact with a powerful vampire lord to ensure their power and wealth. In exchange, each generation would offer one family member to join the ranks of the undead. Sophia was the last of her bloodline, the final Blackwood to fulfill the ancient curse. "You cannot escape it," Viktor said, standing and moving closer. "It is in your blood." Sophia's head swam with confusion and terror. How could this be true? She was just a historian, an ordinary woman. But deep down, she had always felt something different about herself. An inexplicable connection to the darkness. Refusing to accept her fate, Sophia bolted from the dining hall. The manor seemed to shift around her, its halls growing darker and more twisted as she ran. Shadows slithered across the walls, and strange whispers followed her wherever she went.